Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So in today's video we are going to be talking about pest or bugs. Now we want to know whether succulents attract bugs. Yes, succulents do attract pests and bugs because of how they are built. Basically they have water stored in their leaves, they have nutrients stored in their leaves. It tends to turn out to be a very good food for a lot of bugs and pests, especially scale insects and mealybugs, because they love to suck up the juice from plants. Now what's better than succulents, because they have a lot of juice in them compared to our other foliage plants. Our foliage plants also tend to have a lot of juice in them, but succulents are the best food for mealybugs, and so that's why succulents tend to attract a lot of bugs. Now mealybugs are a very regular thing. If you are into succulents, you will tend to see, so every person who grows succulents might have seen at least one mealybug during the time that they have been into this hobby. Mealybugs are like, if you have a succulent, you're definitely going to have mealybugs around, because the plant itself tends to attract insects and bugs. Now scale insects are also very common with succulents, but they usually do not attack the leaves. Rarely they tend to come on the leaves, but usually scale insects are going to be present on the stem. I already have a video on it, how to take care of scale insects. If you want to know more about it, I'll put the link in the description below. You can check it out. One of my red pagoda crassula was affected with the scale insects. Initially they start off with the stem, and then they start coming up on the leaves. Probably the mature ones tend to attack the stem, and the pups or the babies of those scale insects, they tend to move on to the leaves because they have more juice in them. So it is not very easy to get rid of scale insects. Cinnamon powder will be very effective to ants, to mealybugs, to aphids, but it's little difficult to get rid of scale insects. For that you'll either require a hand sanitizer, or you can use rubbing alcohol, because for scale insects it's very important to you need to rub off the the waxy coating, and then when they are exposed without the waxy coating, that is when they tend to get weak and they tend to die off. Same thing with mealybugs as well. There is a waxy powdery coating on them, just like how our succulents have a farina. The mealybugs also have this white waxy coating which tends to protect them. Once that waxy coating is dissolved with the help of rubbing alcohol or with hand sanitizer, then they cannot survive for too long, because they will start to lose up water and they tend to get dried up. But guys, always remember, because a lot of people tend to ask me, what is the foolproof plan to eliminate the mealybugs? Now guys, there is no foolproof plan to eliminate mealybugs. No matter what you do, the mealybugs will come in. Even if you're going to use the most expensive pesticide or insecticide, one is it's going to harm your succulent. Apart from that, when the power, because we need to understand that every product has a limited shelf life. Once the power starts to reduce, the mealybugs are going to come back once again, and they will start attacking your plants. Try to keep your garden as clean as possible. Try to reduce organic matter in your succulent pots. That can help to quite an extent. Now I have a lot of my succulents that do not have mealybugs, because one, my soil is not very organic. Apart from that, a lot of my succulents get a good amount of light. Mealybugs do not like too much of warmth. Apart from that, as a precaution, I tend to sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on the upper layer of soil. Whether I see mealybugs, whether I do not see mealybugs, I do this once every 3 weeks or once every 4 weeks. Either I sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on the top layer of the soil, or I mix it with water and give it to the succulent. So in this way, I just maintain as a precaution, but still, I wouldn't say that my succulents do not have mealybugs. There are mealybugs somewhere or the other, because it becomes very easy for mealybugs to hide in succulents, because of course you can see how compact they are. Now this one still is quite open. Let's show you this one. You can see this one is very compact, and it becomes very easy for mealybugs to hide in them. And apart from that, mealybugs have a very good collaboration with ants, and so ants tend to protect them from other insects. And they have these ants as their bodyguard, so it becomes even more easy for mealybugs to thrive in such conditions. One is that they can very easily hide in between the succulents. Ideally, on our regular plants we can always spray something, and we can get rid of the mealybugs, but in succulents it's very, very difficult. So the most important thing, what I would say, is don't be worried about mealybugs. Focus more on making your succulent very strong, because that's what I have seen is, if your succulent is very strong enough, the mealybugs are very rarely noticed on a healthy succulent. Mealybugs or aphids or scale insects are usually going to attack on a succulent that's not doing quite well, that's quite weak. Let's say for whatever reason, if a succulent is stretching, or if a succulent is being overwatered, or if a succulent is not doing quite well in general, that is when I have noticed that a succulent starts getting affected with mealybugs. But a lot of my succulents that are in full sun with a good balanced watering, with a precautionary sprinkling of cinnamon powder, I do not have any mealybugs on those succulents. There are some succulents that have been free from mealybugs for almost 5 to 6 years. I haven't seen any mealybugs on them. But again, I have to take certain precautions in order to maintain that. I don't use any chemicals. I don't advise anyone to use chemicals, because even if you're going to use chemicals, it's not a foolproof plan that you are going to eliminate mealybugs completely. They are going to be somewhere, because always remember guys, a garden is a small little ecosystem. It is going to have insects. It's going to have beneficial insects. It's also going to have non-beneficial insects. You might have lizards, you might have spiders, you might have ladybugs. All of these insects are going to work out really well. They are beneficial insects. So it's basically a small little ecosystem. If your garden does not have any insects, then trust me guys, your garden is not going to thrive. It will not be a very healthy garden. In order to have a healthy garden, you need to have a balance of non-beneficial insects as well as beneficial insects. Now, because we all tend to live in a concrete jungle, a lot of these beneficial insects are not a very frequent visitors to the garden. Like I haven't seen a ladybug in a very, very long time. I do see praying mantis, I do see some spiders. Again, lacewings, I haven't seen them from a very long time. Ladybugs is something that I haven't even seen in like couple of years. So it is basically cinnamon powder, a good amount of sunlight with a balanced watering. This is going to keep your succulent healthy. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.